everybody. I am Dr. Debbie Pates, and I am in my office at UCCS today. Most of you already know that I am a psychologist at the UCCS Wellness Center, and I do yoga. Well, I used to do yoga with you guys in real life at the Gallery of Contemporary Arts down the street from me right here on campus. But since we are in the throes of COVID, we've been doing it virtually, so every third week I am in my office, and then the rest of the time I'm broadcasting from home live on Wednesdays. I have some exciting news about the gallery. I've said to you before that it's open on Wednesday. No, it's not open on Wednesdays. I don't know when it's open. I think it's open any time during business hours by appointment. But that's the key, by appointment. So you can go to the gallery, which is really exciting. Bit by bit, museums are beginning to open up. I got a notification that the Fine Arts Center in town is opening, also by reservation. So I'm really excited. I didn't think about the things that I missed, until a few months in, and I really do miss going and wandering around in art galleries and in museums. And if you, like me, enjoy art. Here's the exciting news. Aside from that, you can schedule a visit to the gallery. I was out for a run in Pulpit Rock open space, which is just to the north of campus here, and I saw this cool, weird looking installation or thing. I saw this cool, weird metal thing up ahead of me, and I ran toward it, and guess who I ran into? Daisy McGowan, who's the curator of GOCA, and she was working to install an exhibit there. It's called the Windmill Project, and the artist who was there that day, and I got to meet him, which was fun, is a local Colorado Springs artist named Patrick Merrill, and Daisy is going to be on KOAA News tonight talking about it. So if you're interested, you can go see the project. It is just kind of north of the Ent Center and just west of the Heller Center and just south of Pulpit Rock, right there, just east of Nevada. So it's just right there, and it's really, really neat, and I super encourage you guys to come and see it. But that's enough of me talking. Why don't we do some yoga? Come on to your, well, I hope you're on your mat already. Come on into child's pose. So spread your knees wide or keep your knees together and allow your forehead to rest on the floor. This jacket, allow your forehead to rest on the floor. If your knees are together, you might want to put your arms alongside your body, palms facing up. And either way, if your knees are together or wide, you may choose to extend your arms out in front of you. But wherever you are, I encourage you to just drop your head. You made time to come to yoga, so come to yoga. Let yourself take some breaths, dropping into presence. Really allowing the breath to fill your body, fill your lungs, fill your rib cage and your back body. And let the breath be full. Let the inhale come in through your nose if that's accessible to you. Mouth is fine. And let it fill. Really notice the breath. And then be present with and for your exhale. Emptying out. Filling up. Emptying out. Each exhalation, completion of the past. Every inhale, a beginning and a completion. And the breath always grounding us in the present moment to be aware of that cycle. It's fall right now, pretty obvious, right? The weather is changing and the leaves are changing. always in a cycle. And I know that there's so much unfamiliar and so much that we're, yeah, almost afraid of, right? It's the COVID cases are rising again, and winter's coming. And it's been, if it had to be COVID, it's been nice, that the weather's been warm and we've been able to be outside, especially in Colorado, where we really do have so much open space and fewer people, at least outside of the major metropolitan areas. We've been able to be outside. But it's scary because the weather is getting colder. And I know a lot of people are concerned about the impact of that. And that's okay. But what I encourage you to do is be present right now. Tap into how you're doing. That worry about the future isn't here right now. What's here right now is yoga. And when you practice being present, you get out of that habit of being either in the past or in the future. And one of the things that a lot of us do when we're feeling unsure is we turn to things that are comfortable for us, comfortable clothes, comfort foods. And for me, I've been sort of reverting back to one of the first practices that really resonated with me, which is a Baptiste practice. And you guys are practicing with me, those of you who have been practicing with me, this is also going to be familiar to you as well. So from child's pose, let's get moving. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips up into the air. Come into a downward facing dog. And do what you need to do to start getting into the movement phase of the yogic practice. Waking up your body. It was a chilly-ish morning today, so I don't know, it's cold in my office, my body's a little stiff. Just notice what's going on with your body. Maybe bending one knee, letting the opposite heel sink. Keeping the breath flowing. Bend your knees a lot and really push your hands into the ground. And as you push your hands into the ground with your knees bent, send your butt up to the sky, feeling length from the tips of your fingers all the way to your tailbone. And then, keeping that length, begin to let your heels sink to the ground. Look in between your hands and walk to the top of your space. Take baby steps. We're not in any big hurry to get there. And then when you do get there, bring your big toes into touch and have the outside edges of your feet parallel with the mat, which for most of us means some space in between your heels, and roll up to standing, stacking vertebra upon vertebra as best as you can. Right? I don't know that that's really what we're doing, but we're trying. And then you get to standing, roll your shoulders up and back and down. And maybe do that a couple of times in one direction and the other. Noticing your breath. And then come back to rolling your shoulders forward, back, and down, and stand tall. Shine your palms forward. Connect your toes. Lift your toes up and spread them. Spread them as much as you can, and then put them back down on the floor, creating a stable foundation for yourself. And continuing to build that foundation up from your feet on the floor, up through your ankles, your calves, your knees. Maybe lift your knees, engage your quadriceps. Up through your glutes. Maybe you even want to engage your glutes. Why not? And then up through your chest, your shoulders squeezing together, palms shining forward, energy through your fingertips. Maybe straighten your arms, engaging your triceps, those muscles in the backs of your arms, and just feel yourself standing here tall and engaged, as if somebody were gently pulling your hair up from the crown of your head. And then just relax all of that engagement and feel yourself standing and maybe even get a little loose. This isn't part of Baptiste practice. It just feels kind of nice. And then let's move in to what I promised. So inhale your arms up, Sun A. And exhale, bring your hands together and bring your hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And then fold. Put your hands down on the ground. Step back to high plank. Inhale. Exhale. Lower halfway down. Come on back up plank. Lift your hips up to the sky. Downward facing dog. Shift forward. High plank. Low plank. High plank. Downward facing dog. Shift forward. Chaturanga, low plank. High plank. Downward facing dog. Warming up the shoulders. One more time. Shift forward, high plank. Low plank. And this time, upward facing dog and pause here. A pause and up dog. Then look over your left shoulder. Drop your right hip toward or onto the ground, whatever suits you best. Come on back center. Go over your right hip, let your left hip dip. Come on back to center. Drop your knees onto the ground. Sit back into child's pose. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Shift forward, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. So familiar moves. There's not going to be any moves for you guys that are unfamiliar. But maybe mixing the sequence up. I've actually done that with you before, but I don't remember when. But just notice how you respond to, oh wow, that's not what I was expecting. Do you show up? Do you become resistant? What goes on for you? Look in between your hands and step, jump, hop to the top of your space. Halfway lift, lengthen, and inhale. Exhale, fold, fold. Sweep your arms up. Rise, bring your hands together overhead. And pull your energy in to your heart, moving deliberately, feeling the air molecules. Inhale, your arms up, air coming in. Exhale, expelling and folding. Lengthening, inhale. Exhale, high plank. Lower to chaturanga and then make your way to upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Look in between your hands. Step to the top of your space. Halfway lift. Fold. Rise. Hands together. Hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Fold. Halfway up. Step back, high plank. Try to step back with the opposite foot. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Look in between your hands. Step to the top of your space. Halfway lift. Fold. Bend your knees. Utkatasana chair. Sink down. Maybe your biceps are by your ears. Maybe that is creating tension for you. But wherever you are, bring your hands out in front of you actually. Bring your hands kind of forward, like you're sort of Frankenstein, and have your thumbs facing up, palms facing each other, and shrug your shoulders onto your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Sink a little bit lower. Tuck your tail in a little bit, pulling in from below your navel. And then if you want, you can bring your hands into your heart, shrug your shoulders on your back again, maybe. Lift your arms, biceps by your ears. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Let's create heat chaturanga. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Create some circles if that feels good to you. Notice where the weight in your hands is. Bring your right leg back up and step it through low lunge. Spin your back foot flat. Rise, warrior one, first warrior. Try to get your left hip facing forward. Notice both hip points are trying to face forward, and then allow that left hip point to open up as you move into warrior two. Keep your right knee pointing forward. Reach, reach, reach forward. Take extended side angle. Bring your right hand down on the inside of your right shin or thigh, maybe resting on your right leg. Left arm reaches up, really reach out. Don't just go through the motions, but experience the motion, be in the motion. Get energy from the motion, give it to the motion, and then follow that energy up into reverse warrior. Keep your right knee pointing forward, your right hand reaching back. Maybe you look up if your neck permits it. Windmill down, take it back, chaturanga, upward facing dog, and then you go to downward facing dog, and when you get there, lift up your left leg. Bend the knee, open the hip, keep your right heel going down. In circles if it feels good. Just notice. In my body today, that just gave some snap, crackle, pops to my shoulders. Okay, no need for alarm, just being aware, and then bring your left leg back up. Bring it through a low lunge, hit your heel and your knee stacked. Right foot flat. Push into that right foot. Rise up to warrior one. Right hip point facing forward, both hip points facing forward. Keep your left knee tracking out toward the left as you open up, warrior two, and then you reach forward and extend. Again, energy from your arm, your shoulder up toward the ceiling, really reaching up, reaching down, grounding in, and then follow the energy of your right hand up. Left hand comes up in the air, rises as your left knee tracks forward. Inhale, reach, and then windmill down. High plank, low plank, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Look in between your hands, step, jump, or hop to the top of your space, halfway lift. Forward fold, Utkatasana. Stand up, bring your hands together, and pull your energy into your heart. Inhale, your arms up, sink in chair, fold. Lengthen up, take it back, high plank. Lower, lift. Bring your hips up and back as if somebody gently hooked their thumbs into your hip creases and is lengthening you up toward the sky, but you're actually doing it yourself with your breath, with your energy. Lift your right leg up, low lunge, warrior one, warrior two, extended side angle, reverse, extended side angle, reverse, extended side angle, keep breathing, reverse, take it down, high plank, low plank, up dog, downward facing dog, lift your left leg up, low lunge, warrior, warrior two, extended side angle, reverse, extended side angle, reverse, extended side angle, reverse, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. In between your hands, make your way to the top of your space. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Bend your knees. Chair pose, rise. Stand up. Bring your hands together. And bring your hands to your heart. Inhale your arms up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Pull up and pull over. Your right hand is grabbing your left wrist. Your left hip is maybe pushing out a little bit, and you're getting length wherever you can possibly create it. Inhale up and switch sides. Lengthen your breath as well, right? Breathe here. Open, you're wanting to not point your chest to the floor, but toward the side. And then come on back up and sink into chair. Bring your hands to your heart and twist. Right elbow, either way. I said right, but I went to the right. Left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Or the other way, doesn't matter. I'll just keep it simple right here. Notice if your knees are in line with each other. Notice how your breath becomes constricted in the twist. But that's just a change in your breath. It's not a cessation of the breath. And then release. Separate your feet hip width distance. And take your first two fingers and grab your big toes. Lengthen your spine halfway as best as you can, and then take that length down, forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Right, so a version of gorilla here. And then release your big toes, halfway lift, fold, bring your feet back together. Bend your knees, chair, and twist to the opposite side. So either twist to your left or bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Whatever you did before, do the opposite. Try to notice how you can lengthen on the inhale and deepen, soften on the exhale. Every inhale, it's new beginning, new possibilities. And every exhale, completion of the past. Release and fold. And now let's take gorilla. So separate your feet again, and this time slide your hands palms up underneath your feet. Bend your knees so much. I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see. When I do this posture, my knees are bent so much that my chest is on my thighs. Okay, there's not any space there. Lengthen. And then fold. That's because I don't want to damage my hamstrings, but I want to get my hands underneath my feet so that my toes are on my wrist creases. Right? So some of you guys are going to have greater flexibility to be able to do that without having your chest on your thighs. And then maybe you begin to bring straighten your legs, and those two things might separate. Breathe, release your hands, bend your knees. Actually, toe heel your feet out. Toe heel your feet out wide. And let's go into Malasana, crow pose. We're going to go into crow pose. Malasana is yogic squat. So you want to have your heels on the ground and allow your butt to sink as close to the ground as possible. So you see, this is the limit of how low I can go, but many people can look almost like they're sitting on the ground. Right? So it's just your body structure, it's your hips, it's also the way we use our bodies in our society. Keep breathing, allowing yourself to sink as low as you can, but try to keep your chest up. And then you can stay here. This is a really nice hip opening, or you can move into crow. And you're kind of in position for crow already. So put your hands on the floor, bring your knees to the outsides of your arms. You may need to walk your hands in a little bit closer, I do, or your feet in to get arm position. And then look forward, lift your hips, shift your weight onto your hands, and maybe lift one of both feet. Balancing on your hands from gorilla to crow, animal alchemy in yoga, Maybe you can work on lifting up from underneath your navel. Maybe you can straighten your arms. And then come on down. Come into a forward fold, stand up, and roll up, 2, standing. Ooh, nice job. When you get to standing, come to the top of your space and inhale your arms up. Exhale, Utkatasana. Forward fold. Lift and lengthen. Fold and exhale. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and this time come on into crescent. And let's twist again. Twists are thought to be cleansing. So this time bring your left on the outside of your right knee. You may drop your back knee. You may choose to keep your back knee up. That's up to you. That's up to, how about it's up to you, but it's up to you in partnership with your balance. Release. Come into runner's lunge. Hands on the inside of your foot. Drop your back knee if you didn't drop it already. Toe heel your right foot up toward the top corner of your mat. Allow your elbows to bend toward the earth or all the way onto the earth. Maybe you have a block. You put your elbows on the block or your forearms on the block. Maybe you can sink all the way down and let your forearms rest on the ground. And we'll be here for a few moments, letting our bodies begin to open, created some warmth. Now we're going to allow that warmth to assist us in deepening. And we also use the breath to assist us in deepening the postures. And we use time to allow our bodies to open. And use your mind also to know when you might be pushing too much, trying to go too far. Because when we push our body, rather than allowing our body, what happens is actually counter to what we want to have happen. Our bodies tighten up to protect, rather than softening and opening. Come on up. Bring your right foot in a little bit, maybe tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Send your right foot back. Chaturanga, high plank rather, and then chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Be in down dog in a minute. Really reconnect with the posture. Notice perhaps changes in how it feels. Body more open, body more tired. Maybe you don't notice anything at all. And then just notice that too. Just be aware of something. Be present to your experience. Maybe you're noticing the way your clothes are touching your body. But be present here. And when you stop being present and start thinking about lunch or the meeting or the homework, come back to breath. Lift your left leg up. Low lunge. Crescent. Right heel is lifted. Bring your hands to your heart and twist to your left side. Right elbow on the outside of your left knee. You can drop your back knee, or you can keep it lifted. hands on the inside of your left foot, drop your knee. You can scoot your right knee back a little bit. You can scoot your left foot forward a little bit. And come on into runner's lunge. Nobody has a perfectly symmetrical body. We aren't born with symmetrical bodies. And then through the way that we use our bodies, we increase the disparity between the two sides, right? So I guess there are, what do you call it, ambidextrous people in the world, but most of us are handed, left hand, right hand, it doesn't matter. But whichever hand you are, that side of your body is stronger, which also means it's tighter, less loose. Maybe you have injuries that add to the discrepancy, the differences between the two sides of our body. So these don't need to be things that we judge. I don't judge myself because of which hand I use to write with. It just is something that we make accommodations for. Softening. Having a respectful relationship with your body. Listening to your body, not insisting that it do what you want it to do because you have some idea that it, quote, should, look this way or that way. Let the opening and the softening feel good. As we open and soften to a new season, rather than hardening, we soften. Try to be accepting. You say, I don't know what it's going to be. We never know what it's going to be. We could have expected COVID, huh? And we don't know what it's going to look like. But rather than clenching your teeth and clenching your fists and gritting your teeth, maybe just open up to, find out. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. And without moving your butt as much as possible, just bring your left foot back into high plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Bring your big toes together in the center of your mat and lift your right leg up. Bend your knee and open up your hip and then flip your dog. So bring your right foot to the floor and allow your right hand to just be free overhead. You're lifting your hips, pushing into the ground, and then come on back. You could always stay in three-legged dog. I should have said that. And bring your big toes together. And this time, stay where you are, big toes together. But this time, spin. Let's come to side plank. Rolling your heels to the right, lifting your left hand. So I like to come to side plank from downward facing dog because we want to be lifting our hips. And when we're in down dog, we already are lifting our hips. And come on back, downward facing dog. Have your feet together in the middle of your mat. Lift your left leg up. And flip your dog. This time your left foot comes. So you can stay in three-legged dog, or you can open it up. You can do some of those rolls again, or have your left foot be on the floor, lifting through your hips, letting your left arm be free, and then come on back, downward facing dog. And yep, you know what we're doing. We're rolling into Vasisthasana, side plank, left hand down, left foot, your left knee down, right arm lifting. I don't know about you guys, but I've certainly created some warmth here. And then come on back, downward facing dog. And just breathe. All right, let's do a little balancing. Look in between your hands and make your way to the top of your space, halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise up. Bring your hands together overhead. Pull your energy into your heart. All right, let's come into eagle. So come into chair pose, Utkatasana. And then left arm, right arm under, right leg up and over. And if you did the other side, don't worry about it. Actually, okay, release eagle. Come on, chair. Do the other side. We're just going to do it real quick one time because I forgot that I wanted to do something else and I need us all on the same page. Okay, release. And come on into eagle. Bring your right arm under, right leg up and over. And then from here, down, bend your knee and try to bring your torso parallel to the ground. So your arms and your legs are bound, but you want to have your back flat. Maybe even try to lengthen your back. Notice the rounding I did. Notice the rounding. You're going to put your right toes on the floor if that helps you. And then maybe you leave your right toes on the floor. Maybe you reconnect with the engagement in your core that's going to help you here. You lift your right foot up. And then you're definitely going to want to lift your right foot up because keep the bind in your arms to bring your right foot back behind you. So we're starting out here in a bound airplane. You can get there, we're kind of struggling here. So come on into a bound airplane. Right leg reaching back, arms in eagle. And then unfurl your arms and come into either airplane or warrior three. So your arms are reaching back behind you or out in front of you. You could straighten your bottom knee or keep it bent, your standing knee. And then bring your hands into your heart. And let's turn this into half moon. So open up to your right side. Bring your left hand down. And your right hand up. Block. And bring your hand down. Both hands down. Stand in splits for a moment here. Feeling the stretch through the back of your left leg as you lift your right leg up. And then release. Bring your right foot down next to your left. Bend your knees. Chair pose. Eagle. Left arm under. Left leg up and over. And first find eagle. And then begin to bring your torso parallel to the ground, creating length as you go forward so that you're not just curling. You're also trying to get there and then find a flat back. Keep the bind. Find the position. Maybe your right toes or left toes are on the ground, and then unwind. Unwind your left foot, come into bound airplane, and then release the bind and come into airplane or warrior three, your choice. And bring your hands into your heart, half moon. So you open up your body to the left, unfurling. Right hand comes down, left arm reaches up, trying to get your left foot and your torso parallel to the ground. It's not always easy to see. If you have a mirror, you can look in the mirror and see. I don't encourage you to practice in front of a mirror because it's not about what the practice looks like. Turn your torso to the ground, standing splits, opening up through the back of your right leg. It's not about what the practice looks like, but sometimes it's nice to see, oh, is that what I'm doing? Okay, let me make this adjustment, let me make that adjustment. And then bring your left leg down to meet your right. Bend your knees, chair pose. Stand up, and bring your hands to your heart. Inhale your arms up. One more standing sequence, chair. Fold, fold, halfway lift, lengthen, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, warrior one, back heel flat, warrior two, Straighten your right knee. Jut your left hip out as you reach to the right. Triangle. Open. Maybe using your bottom hand here on your leg or maybe block the leverage to roll your right rib cage under. Opening your heart. Opening your heart. Maybe think about tucking your right butt cheek under as well. And maybe think about pulling the crown of your head forward towards your right big toe. And then rise up. Oh, here's my balance. Turn your feet parallel to each other. Tee your arms out. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open up your chest and bow forward. Your feet are parallel or maybe a little bit pigeon-toed. And you can bring your hands, grab onto your big toes. Maybe grab onto your heels from the outside. Lengthening your spine, lengthening your breath. And a way to help you soften here is to engage. So think about, if this makes sense to you, engage your quadriceps. Squeeze the fronts of your legs, the muscles in the fronts of your legs. And notice maybe that you went down a little bit lower. Similarly, engage your stomach muscles. And notice that perhaps you went down a little bit lower because the front side of your body is engaging and saying, hey, back side of the body, I got you. You can release here. And then stand up, tee out your arms and rise with your stomach engaged. Rise with a flat back. Turn your right foot to the front, bend your right knee. Flip your right palm, reverse your warrior. And take it down. Make your way to down dog, so go through the vinyasa, or you can always skip it. Step your left foot forward, right foot flat. Warrior one. Warrior two. Straighten your left knee. Jut your right hip out as you reach forward with your left hand. We're creating length on both sides of the body. And then tilt. Again, maybe bottom hand is leverage. Using the breath. How do you want to use the breath? You want to use the breath to help you stay grounded in this moment. Just remembering breath is present. You want to use the breath to help you deepen the posture. You want to just remember to breathe. Stand up. Turn your feet parallel again. Clasp your hands behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift your heart. Feet are parallel or pigeon-toed. Bow forward. Letting your hands come overhead, off your back, up into the air, as high as they'll go. Some people's hands barely move up an inch. Some people's hands go all the way over their head and touch the floor. Rise back up. Tee your arms out. Warrior two. Reverse. And take it down. Chaturanga back. Up dog. And from up dog, simply lay down on the ground. Turn your head to one side. Let your ear rest on the mat. Feel the earth holding you up.
Let your body relax. And then bow pose. Bring your head center. Bend your knees. And grab onto the tops of your feet or maybe your ankles. Bring your knees hip width distance and kick. Lift. Lift whatever you can lift. In Kundalini yoga, they say rock. Use your breath to rock. And you can even deliberately rock if you want. It feels nice maybe. And then release. And turn your head to the opposite side. And then just rest again. So pause. Feel your breath, heartbeat, stomach. Come on back center. Let's do a sphinx. So bring your elbows onto the ground directly underneath your shoulders, palms flat. And imagine it's like you're trying to roll your shoulders up onto your back if you can, but you want your chest to be lifted. So it's called Sphinx pose. Your chest is lifting, but also your fingers are pushing into the ground and you're pulling yourself as if you're trying to drag your body forward. If you do this after you do a core workout, after you do like stomach exercises, you really feel the stretch in your stomach. Maybe you feel it right now. And then come on down. Push up into plank. Tuck your toes, hands under your shoulders. Push up. Lift your hips down, dog. Pigeon, right knee forward. I'm going to give us a timer here. So we'll be in pigeon here on this side for 2 minutes and then 2 minutes on the other side. And as I said before, when we've done this, a 2-minute hold in shape, it takes time for your body to open. So I'll give you a 1-minute notification. So you want to eventually come to static in this posture, but maybe you use the first minute to get the wiggles out, figure out what position is the best for your body today. Maybe you want to sit over onto your right hip and let your torso come a little bit draping over your left knee to the ground. Maybe that's what works for your body. We're at a minute now. And if you do that, your left foot's going to turn in a little bit, turn out on the big toe side on the ground. I've said this before. Well, actually, first now, come to static. Pick where you want to be and stay there for another minute. It's only a minute. You haven't committed your lifetime to it. See if you can stay. There's a lot of benefit from doing these shapes differently each time, or slightly differently. Because what you're allowing is for your body to get a slightly different benefit. Even if it's just moving your torso over an inch, or bringing your front foot up or back a drop, you're shifting. And isn't that what we want? The seasons are shifting. We don't want to be stuck. We want to stay supple. Stay fresh. Not be rigid. Right? A couple more seconds here. And bring your hands under your shoulders, push up. And make your way to pigeon on the other side. So maybe tuck your toes and lift your back knee and step back into down dog. And then left foot forward. Or you could have done that any other way, just getting your left foot forward. Left knee behind your left wrist. And we're on the clock. So find it. Do you want to sit your left hip down and drape your torso kind of more in the center there, or over your left knee? Do you want to Be centered. You want to play with the position of your foot. We got a minute here to do the wiggly part. So you don't have to get there. We're only 20 seconds in. You don't have to get there that quickly. You know, we're in this kind of hurry up and wait culture. But instead, just feel it out. Play around with this for a couple of seconds. Breathe as you do it so that your body is giving you feedback. Like, ooh, that's a little, I can't breathe so freely there. Or, ooh, I like this, nice and juicy. And then start to decide where you want to stay. And then for a minute, find stillness. You know, when we're rigid, think about things that are rigid, that are brittle. They break easily. We don't want to be rigid. We don't want to be brittle. We want to be supple. We want to have pliability, not only in our bodies, but in our minds, in our approach. And my gosh, you guys, if not now, when? Right? If not now, when? Rabbi Hillel says, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? But if I am only for myself, what am I? And if not now, when? Take your last couple of juicy breaths here. And then, Instead of coming out of this pose all the way, sit over onto your left hip and swing your right leg around, but we're not coming into Janu Shirshasana. We're going to come into double pigeon. So double pigeon, you want to have your left thigh extending straight out from your left hip. And you want to try to get your left shin parallel with the top of your mat. And my left knee is up, yours might be flat, and then take your right ankle and stack it on top of your left knee. So you want your shins kind of in a line here. And as you can see, if you look up, my right knee is floating really up high in the air. That's my hips. Some people's legs are just flat on top of each other. If you want to add an arm position here, you can bring your right arm up and drop it behind your back, and then reach your left arm down and up and try to clap your hands. And if you still need more here, bow forward. Be patient with yourself. This position doesn't say anything about how good of a person you are. It's just the shape your bodies are in right now. And it doesn't say anything about your fitness either. It's just a shape. Sit back up, double pigeon the other side. So actually straighten out your legs. Release your arms, straighten out your legs. Let's do a Paschimottanasana, straight-legged forward fold first. So straighten out your legs and bow. You want to try to get your forehead beyond your toes. And then bring your shoulder blades back on your back. And then reach your forehead forward again. So when you bring your shoulder blades back on your back, you're kind of calling yourself on, hey, where do my hands really reach? And if you can grab your toes without extending your shoulder blades out, then okay. But otherwise, just have your hands wherever on your legs. Breathing, reaching, opening. It's just about opening. It's just about creating space. And then come on up, double pigeon other side. Keep your right leg reaching straight out and bend your knee so that your right shin is parallel with the top of your mat, left ankle on top of your right knee. If you want, left arm up and behind your back, and then reach your right arm up and try to clasp hands. And if you need more, bow forward. You can always use a strap here if you have one. Breathe, get it while you can. It's already over. Sit up. Extend your legs out in front of you. Roll down onto your back. And when you get down onto your back,
Place your hands by your hips, and I want you to come up and do waterfall. So waterfall is also called legs up the wall pose. If you have a wall near you, you can place your legs on the wall. You want your butt really close to the wall. If you have a block, you can put the block underneath your hips. If you want to do any other inversion here, go ahead and do the inversion. If you were looking and you notice I don't have a block, but I kind of made my hands into fists and I'm lifting my hips a little bit with that. So this is an inversion. You don't always have to take the most extreme version of a shape. You can do a handstand, you can do headstand, you can do plow, shoulder stand. You can just stick your feet up too. You get the same benefit of the blood rushing from your feet down, reversing gravity. Be mindful of our time here. All right, let's come into plow. So from wherever inversion you are, if you need to come down in some way, do that. And then using a little bit of momentum, bring your feet toward the floor overhead. And then bring your hands down flat on the ground and roll out. And when you get your butt down, hug your knees into your chest, rock left to right. And let your left leg go long, right knee squeeze towards your chest. And then spin. Spinal twist, right knee to the left side. And let the breath help send the breath to your low back. This is such a nice opening for your low back. Really let the breath help you soften into the posture. But we're not posturing. We're in a posture, but we're not posturing. We're being genuine. We're being true to ourselves in this moment. Come on back. Hug both knees in and then switch sides. Right knee long, left knee, hug it in. And then left knee to the right. And breath. Be grateful to your body for what it can do. Trying to practice. What we practice is what we get good at. So practice thanking your body, not criticizing your body. Practice using your breath to ground into the present. Come on back to center. If you want, hug your knees in one more time, or else just release. Lay on your back, Shavasana. Let your breath get heavy. Let your body get heavy. I didn't mean let your breath get heavy, actually, I just said that. I meant let your breath get soft. And I want to read you guys a poem by Mary Oliver, which if you've been taking my class for a while, you might notice a theme. I really love Mary Oliver's poetry. And one of the things I love about her poetry is its simplicity. And I love its connection to nature. And this poem is called Song for Autumn. Don't you imagine the leaves dream now? How comfortable it would be to touch the earth instead of the nothingness of the air and the endless freshets of wind. And don't you think the trees
especially those with mossy hollows, are beginning to look for the birds that will come, 6, a dozen, to sleep inside their bodies. And don't you hear the goldenrod whispering goodbye, the everlasting being crowned with the first puffets of snow? The pond stiffens, and the white field over which the fox runs so quickly brings out its long blue shadows. The wind wags its many tails, and in the evening the piled firewood shifts a little, longing to be on its way. Begin to be on your way, begin to bring movement back into your body. And make your way to a seated position. There's no hurry. And you get to seat at a moment of gratitude, please, for whatever you feel grateful for. Maybe grateful that I reminded you that even though there's a lot going on out there, and it's absolutely unprecedented times in many ways, you're warm and safe and dry, and you just spent an hour doing yoga. Thank you so very much for joining me. Don't forget to tune into KRDO tonight and the GOCA curator Daisy McGowan talking about the windmill project that you can see on our campus. I'm not sure that's actually our campus. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Namaste. Have any questions about the Wellness Center here at UCCS, please feel free to contact me and I will try to answer your questions. You can also ask me questions about the gallery, which I am not sure I can answer, but I can forward those on, and I'm always happy to also answer any questions about yoga. Thank you guys again so much. Namaste.